One. Hey guys out there in digital world, it's Dusty and I have my friend Melissa Gallway with me. Say hi, Melissa.
Hey, hey, hey.
When we were in COVID last year, I had a segment called Who's in Your Pit Crew. And so we are going to rebrand this and we are going to call it Ask a Pro. So
Oh, cool.
I'm super excited that I have Melissa with me today. In our industry, we are just seeing so many changes come to us from the homeowners insurance side, that I thought it would be a good idea. Let's kick it off with something that really means something and that you can really gather some information from. So, Melissa, would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about Excellence First Insurance Company that you own?
Sure. My name is Melissa Gallway. I am the owner of Excellence First Insurance and principal agent here. So we actually write with about 40 plus different insurance companies throughout the state of Florida. So it doesn't have to just be here in the Brandon, Tampa area or Valrico. It could actually be in Jacksonville or Miami. So we can write throughout the state. We specialize primarily in the personal lines and commercial lines business. So most of our business is from realtor partners and mortgage brokers and just standard community. And a lot of things that we do is we work with them on helping the buyers get their home and understand the changes that are going on in the insurance industry.
Yeah. And there are a lot of them right now, right?
There's a lot. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot.
I know. So regardless if you're a real estate agent or you're actually a homeowner, this information you're going to find very interesting because if you're a homeowner, you still have to carry homeowners insurance, and the rates are changing. And the rates are changing, and we're going to go into a little bit about why they're changing and what's going on. And then Melissa's going to tell you best way to work with her, or any insurance agent, not necessarily
Absolutely.
Melissa. So yeah,
Yeah,
you just really need to know that if you're a current homeowner, shopping your homeowner's insurance is going to be very beneficial for you in this year, because if you have a policy, you can almost guarantee you're going to see that your rates have increased, right?
agreed. Absolutely. So the entire state, and this is what people are. So let me just first say, we are just the messenger. So whether it be in our agency or with State Farm or with Allstate or whoever, your insurance agent is just the messenger. We don't get to decide if these rates go up or down. So keep that in mind when working with your agent, and just be a little bit more patient because all of these changes have just made our phones ring off the hook. It has made us do our normal business 3 times as hard. So we have our existing clientele that are like, hey, my rates have gone up. What am I going to do? Well, I want them to come back, and I want them to come to me if you're my existing customer and say, hey, Melissa, can you help me research my options? Just like at any other agency as well, if you're with Joe Schmo Insurance, I would want you to go to them first and say, hey, can you help me research my options with insurance? Because loyalty does mean a lot. At the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and your household as a consumer. And that's just being honest. I tell my customers all the time, if you do tend to find something else better elsewhere, let me look at it with you. Let's make sure it is exactly the same coverage first before you make that decision. And if it is actually cheaper at that point in time, we can see each other again in the future. It's not a big deal. But rates have gone up anywhere between 30 to 60%. I've even seen some that have gone up triple. And let me explain that a little bit to you. So when it comes to reinsurance in the state of Florida, people don't know what reinsurance is. Reinsurance is the insurance for the insurance company. So let's,
So the
I know
insurance companies actually have insurance
the
to insure
insurance
them.
company has insurance. I mean, you want to make sure you have the financial backing, right? So let's say in a situation like Hurricane Andrew comes through and it just wipes out a big portion of the state, right? We definitely don't want that to happen, but it can. When that occurred, you saw a lot of companies pull out of the state. They no longer insured in our state. They went bankrupt. And also reinsurance was not as big of a thing back then. So now, if that were to occur in this situation, and we had a huge, ginormous hurricane, knock on wood, that did do that kind of devastation again, the reinsurance is supposed to help the insurance company pay those losses. That's how it's supposed to work. Again, supposed to work. So in this particular case, the reinsurance has gone up over 20% in the state. A lot of people are asking, well, why? I didn't file a claim. Well, unfortunately, you may not have filed a claim, but others have. And it's not just based off of what you do as a consumer, because if that were the case, auto insurance rates would be so much better for people who've never had an accident and never had a ticket, right? So it affects everybody, unfortunately. And there has been a lot of insurance fraud in the state regarding to water claims, but primarily to roofing claims. You've had door knockers go door to door. Go ahead.
I was going to say, talk about that a little bit and exactly what, no, seriously, this is important, guys. Like there are scams going on out there. And if you're not educated, you don't know.
You don't know.
Talk about the roof
don't.
guy who's knocking on your door saying, hey, I see you have some damage, and then they can help you file an insurance claim. So talk a little bit about what's going on there, Melissa.
Sure, I can definitely give you a great scenario. I have a client who is adorable. I absolutely love this guy, and he's elderly, and he recently lost his wife. And we've been hand holding him because we want to make sure that he makes these right decisions. And we've been working with his daughter on him. Well, he had experienced somebody knock on his door. They had stated that they knew his roof was older. It's actually public information. Let's face it. You can see if a roof permit was pulled on a house, it's public information. They knew his roof was older. They knocked on his door. They offered, they said, hey, we see damage up on your roof from a storm that happened on June 15th that came through here. They gave him the exact date, what happened, what time it happened. And, he wanted a new roof. It was a clay tile roof at that, which we all know clay tile roofs are extremely expensive. So they had given him an estimate to replace a 4,000 square foot single story home of $160,000. $160,000. So I reached out to a couple of roofing partners that I have, and I said, I need you to give him an estimate. I need you to give him an estimate, and I need you to give him an estimate and tell me how much is actually to replace this roof. And they started filing paperwork with the insurance company to pay for this roof. Come to find out, all the estimates that I got back range from $60,000 to $70,000 to replace this roof. That's $100,000 difference. And unfortunately, people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, I'm getting a new roof. They're doubling the cost of a standard roof for no reason. So good thing is he did have us being there for him, and we were able to stop that situation from happening and lead him in the right direction to get whatever he needed done. Come to find out, he really didn't have any damage on his roof. His roof was just fine. He didn't have to replace it. So he ended up not doing anything on that. But it's not that we're encouraging him not to file a claim. If you do have the damage, file the claim. That's why you pay for insurance. However, if there is no damage there and somebody's encouraging that you have damage, they're playing the system. And we don't want that to happen, because at the end of the day, you are paying it back in some way, shape, or form. And that is exactly what's happening now. The rates are going up significantly, and we are paying it back as consumers, regardless if we filed a claim or not.
Yeah. So good points there. And again, we are talking to the general consumer today. We are also going to talk to our realtors, just so you know what's going on out in the marketplace, right? So we're seeing rate increases. So as a real estate agent coming to you, what are they going to see? Wait, I'm going to step back 1 second. What's the difference of working with a broker, which you said you work right for 40 companies, or working with like a State Farm? Can you describe that difference?
So just a disclosure, I don't work for State Farm. I've never worked for State Farm. Okay. I can tell you the difference between going with a, what we call a monoline carrier versus a broker. Okay. And I do know that there are some State Farms that might have a couple of different options. So, because I have a lot of friends that work with State Farm. So I don't want to necessarily say that they just write with State Farm. I think it depends on which agency you speak with. So definitely talk to them first. So I can't speak on their behalf, but I can tell you a broker is very similar. We research your options. We research your options, and like USAA, for example, I can tell you about USAA because I used to work there. Loved working there. They're a great company, but they write with just USAA, and they have strict underwriting criterias. Okay, if you don't meet those underwriting criterias, they send you to a broker that they partner with. Instead of going with a broker that they partner with, I would hope that you would go with a local broker who supports your community, someone here locally. So there's tons of us that are out here that are called independent agents. And what we do is we help research your options with other insurance companies that don't put out those marketing dollars out there, and actually look into working with other companies that will take your roofing, will take your plumbing, will take your electrical issues, and so forth. So we have multiple options for the consumers.
Okay, I think that's great. In those categories, like the main things that an insurance company are looking at, or your foremost costly repairs, right? Your roof, electric, AC, and plumbing. So you're seeing some different things on acceptance on roof.
Oh yeah.
Plumbing, your hot water tank. So talk to us a little bit about those significant changes that you're seeing and what's being accepted, and I guess basically the ease or difficulty to get something approved that maybe has 3 years of life left as opposed to 10 or 15.
Agreed. So as of January, things just, we're like, oh, new year, 2020 is done, and then out of nowhere, it was like, bam, especially in the insurance world, because things change for us significantly, and they are still changing. So let me explain what that means is they give us one set of criteria, and then they can change it a week later. So they have the ability of doing that. We are now facing roof ages. So there's two types of claims that are really big in the state: water claims and roofing claims. So the way that they mitigate that risk is by putting harder underwriting requirements. So for example, Heritage, well-known company to the area, they sponsor the Tampa Bay Lightning. They used to have a roofing underwriting requirement that is, if it's an architectural shingle, 3-dimensional roof, we can insure it up to 20 years old. If it was a composition shingle, we can only insure it up to 15 years old. Recently, they changed those guidelines. It doesn't matter what kind of roof it is, we're not insuring it until over 10 years old. Well, that puts us in a bind because you have roofers selling these warranties up to 25 years. And they're like, well, I have the roofing paperwork that says it's going to last me up to 25 years. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter in the insurance world. They're going based off the age of the roof itself. And again, this has a lot to do with the claims, the fraudulent claims that have been filed. I have some carriers that won't accept roofs over 5 years old. I have some carriers that are, if you're purchasing a home, they require the full home inspection. I have insurance companies.
New. They want the full home inspection. I tell my agents never, ever send the full home inspection.
Don't send it.
Oh,
Let us
wow.
look at it first. Yeah, don't send it. Let us look at it first. Let's see if it's even worth it. So yeah, we things have changed. So water heaters are a big thing. They don't want water heaters over 15 years old. Why? Because water heaters burst, and when they burst, it's a water claim. They're also not like, there also have some carriers that want the house completely replumbed. And that's extremely hard. It's okay. And that's hard. Replumbing a whole entire house is expensive. So we just have a lot of jumps and hurdles to go through. And unfortunately, it's kind of pushing more people to insure themselves with Citizens, because Citizens will just be the cheapest, and they'll insure a roof over 15 years old as long as there's 3 years left of remaining life on it. And if you do work with Citizens, and Dusty can tell you, you better have the cleanest 4-point on the planet, meaning your AC better be newer, your plumbing better be, up to code, and your water heater can't be older. Your wiring better not have any kind of deficiencies whatsoever. Everything must be spick and span. and your roof better have at least 3 years remaining life on it. But the sad part about that, it is a state funded program. And if more people go that route, what ends up happening is if everybody goes through Citizens and we have a big loss, there's gonna be a major claims issue there. So just be well in the know and be knowledgeable when you're making these decisions. Sometimes it's worth paying a little bit more if you have another option.
Okay. Well, thank you for all that information. And one of the things I wanted to ask you right now is, as an agent, and I'm working with a realtor and they are in the middle of a transaction, when should they be shopping insurance quotes?
You honestly, and I've been telling this to them because of the influx of demand that we've been having to reshop rates and so forth, bring it to me when you have the inspections in hand. Why? Because as an insurance agent, I can give you best case scenario, which can be destroyed after you have a win mitt and a 4-point that just says, "Hey, guess what? You don't qualify." So unless it's a newer build, unless it's a home that was built within the last 5 years or even 10 years, at that point, I don't need inspections to start quoting it. But if it's over 10 years old, we want to see those inspections before we start quoting it, because I don't want to give you false hopes. I've had some people say, "Hey, can you give me a hypothetical?" I've done it. And the next thing you know, the premium was $1,500 plus on top. And then there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed. I don't have control over that, unfortunately. I have to do what the underwriters required me to do. So I would say if you're dealing with an older home and you're wanting to shop the rate and help your buyer with the rate, let's do it when you have the inspections so we don't give false promises, because it's just hard these days. It's really, really hard. And insurance is based a lot off of off credit. It's not a hard pull, but they do what they consider a soft pull to see what their payment history is like and so forth, and claims history is like. So keep that in mind as well. When insurance agents, we provide you the quote, more than likely we're not pulling the score, because we do need to speak with the buyer before we do that. So that can be a factor as well.
If anybody has any questions out there, you can put it in the chat. I'll be happy to pull it up and have Melissa answer it for you. So just get in your chat and type away. But Melissa, what's coming up right now? What starts June 20th?
Oh, hurricane season, our favorite season on the planet. Yes, if you haven't bought your flood insurance yet, buy it now. So, because there is a 30-day wait if you don't have it. So you want to make sure you go and you reach out to your agent and buy some flood insurance 30 days prior. So, like mid-May.
Okay. And so when hurricanes start, we're notorious. We get one or two every year. So when they hit, what happens to the real estate industry as far as being able to continue with the process?
They suspend coverage. So right around that time of year, and a lot of my mortgage friends know, you want to go ahead and bind policies at least 30 days in advance before closing, because if a storm is heading this way, they'll stop writing cover. They'll stop writing policies at least 2 weeks prior to the storm, even if it's just projected to come this way.
Yeah,
they're like, we don't want to write anymore. We're going to stop it. So definitely go ahead and start looking at issuing those policies for closing prior to now as we get closer to hurricane season.
Yeah. So I want to delay. I wanted to make sure we hit that spot, because I know that we're quickly approaching that time frame of the year. Melissa, is there anything else that you think that the audience should know about the changes in the insurance industry since the beginning of the year that maybe I didn't ask you about?
Really, no, it's just be cautious. I mean, I know the real estate market in general, like there's no inventory, everybody's overbidding on homes, and it's just crazy right now. So I feel for the realtors, but at the same time, just have patience for your insurance agents, because we also have our own hurdles that we're trying to jump over, and we're going to do everything that we can to make the deal done. That's without being stated. But at the end of the day, sometimes we're waiting on an email back from someone that we just have our hands tied, and we're like, we know how important it is. Just give us a minute, because we have to wait on somebody else in order to get that done. So it's hard, but we are doing our 150% plus to get everything done for you guys. So we appreciate your patience on that.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for your information. So some of the things that, just to kind of recap real quick for you, the reinsurance has actually increased. So that's making everybody's rates increase. If you're a current homeowner, shop your rates. Don't just go with what the insurance company tells you. Insurance agents, make sure that if your house is 10 years or older, that you actually have the inspection in hand, so that you can submit that for Melissa to her team to review. And as you're going through your day, have patience. I think Melissa said that a couple of times today. One of the things that I know, sometimes she has to get an updated 4-point before she can proceed. And so she's working with inspection companies in order to do that. So watch the video. She gave you some great information today. Next week, I'll be back with Jim Gaffney. We're going to be talking about credit. And I'm going to leave you with that, because it's not just your normal credit. So I hope that you'll come back. We'll be back here next Thursday at 10, and then you can catch us every other week, first and third Thursday. We're going to go on at 10, and we're going to be talking to a pro. So thanks, Melissa, for being my first.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.